So I really believe that there is a difference between having life and living. I say it this way, that everything that is alive may have life, but not everything that has life is actually living. You know, most of us are going through this life existing, going through the motions of life, not actively participating in our lives, standing on the sidelines of our lives. And oftentimes that happens because we find ourselves stuck at the space and at the spot that we experienced an adverse situation. We find ourselves stuck at this moment in time that things may have happened. And even though we may not be there physically, a lot of us are still stuck in the stories we continue to tell ourselves mentally, emotionally. And all of these different aspects affect our ability to live a life of presence, to live a life of power, to live a life of purpose. And so today, I want to share a moment with you. I want us to have a conversation that I believe goes deeper than motivation, a conversation that I hope is revelatory, a conversation that helps you to think on a different level. You see, my focus is not to tell you what to think. My focus is to help you to understand how to think. And if I could give this a title, I would say it this way, that the title of this moment is Moving Forward. I want to talk about moving forward because I believe that most of us are stuck. And I think there are a few different layers and levels to this conversation about being stuck. I think some of us are stuck and we don't even realize that we're stuck. That to some degree we have normalized what it really means to exist. We've normalized what it really means to continuously operate in lack. We've normalized what it means to be continuously fatigued and tired and burnt out and frustrated. And when you begin to normalize those things in your life, what oftentimes happens is that you build an infrastructure around dysfunction. And by doing so, we end up accepting things that can get us to elevate and to go to that next level. And we reject the things that are necessary for our breakthrough. But today, my goal is to help you to break through. Somebody need to drop that in the chat, drop that in the comments, breakthrough. And oftentimes we think about a breakthrough as something happening externally. But can I tell you something today, my friend, that a breakthrough happens when you break. Whew. Not breaking the way where you go down this road of suicidal ideation and things begin to happen to you. I'm not breaking that way, but when you break out of the negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs and insecurities that affect your ability to truly be able to operate at your greatest capacity. Come on, somebody. But my focus and my goal today is to help you to experience a breakthrough so that you can move forward. I don't want you to remain stuck. There's so much tied to you, so much purpose and impact and so much joy, so much fulfillment, so much love that is being suppressed and to some degree compressed simply because you're not allowing yourself to go from existing to living. You're not releasing, you're not opening up again, you're not allowing your authentic self to come through. Authenticity is my goal. I want to help you to truly embrace the essence of who you really are. To get to this point in this place where you embrace your uniqueness, you embrace your gifts, your abilities, but you also embrace your story. I don't want you to be stuck in a moment where things happened, but I want you to wake up, realize what is happening so that you can begin to happen, to ultimately achieve what you desire to achieve. Let's talk about your beliefs really quick, because I truly believe that your beliefs are the things that drive your behaviors. That oftentimes when we want to create change in our life, when we want to move forward, the thing that keeps us back, the thing that keeps us in a cycle is that yes, we focus on our behavior. I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to do necessary things to move forward. But oftentimes our behaviors run into this space and really this invisible wall where we stop. Because yes, we address the behaviors and those behaviors are conducive to extraordinary results, to growth, to impact, to all of the things that we want to achieve. We're doing the right things, but we have not addressed our belief system. And failure to address one's belief system will ultimately lead to great frustration because you're doing a lot of the right things from the wrong motive, the wrong source, the wrong space. And as a result of that, my friends, you don't have the consistency, the follow through that's going to be necessary for you to break through, for you to move forward. Let's talk about your belief system for a moment, because first and foremost, and you hear me talk about this a lot because I truly believe it, that our beliefs drive our behaviors. That your behaviors to this point, the way that you behave, specifically, not so much when everything is going great, but the way that you behave under pressure is directly connected to your belief system. Your belief system is really defined as the way that you view yourself, others, in the world. Your most central idea about yourself, others, in the world. And your belief about yourself, others, in the world really affects your perception, which drives your actions or your inactions. And those actions or inactions create your reality. And so it's important that if we want to reshape our reality, if we really want to move forward, we must get back to addressing our inaccurate beliefs. Because we have a belief system, and most of us find ourselves in situations where we have an inaccurate belief system as it relates to what we're trying to achieve, what we're actually trying to become. And if your belief system is conflicting your desire, you'll always come up short. Let me break this down. Let me go a little bit deeper. If your belief system is that you're not good enough, is that you're inadequate, is that you're not enough, then the truth is, no matter what situations or circumstances come your way, you will always sabotage those circumstances because you devalue yourself. Can I go a little bit deeper? A person who sees or who views poverty as their norm and they don't believe they'll ever break through it, they don't believe that they have the opportunities to become wealthy, will never truly become wealthy, not because they can't, but my friends, because they won't. Come on, somebody. Because at the end of the day, your belief will always create a barrier to your breakthrough. My question for you, I want you to think about this. What do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? Not what do you think about yourself? Because there is a difference between your thoughts and your beliefs. Yeah. Your beliefs are the things that are truly ingrained. Your thoughts are the ideas, the things that flash through your mind. And a lot of them may stem from external situations, but once they collide with your belief system, once they have to be filtered through your belief system, they may become negative. When you realize that your thoughts start positive and go negative, or let me go deeper, when feedback or somebody's no or somebody's response to you, when that thing may start positive, or maybe they don't mean what you're hearing and you end up going negative, it could be an indication that you have a belief system that is not conducive to the results and the desires that you have. What is your belief system? What do you really believe about yourself? What do you believe about others? What do you believe about this world? Because guys, and I want you to grasp this, your beliefs matter. Your beliefs matter. And so I want us to really understand the power of our beliefs and the impact that our beliefs have on our behaviors. And here's why. Because most of us have had experiences, we've been in environments, and we've been exposed to things that are not conducive to who we desire to become. And we find ourselves in this space of conflict and this war. And that war is affecting our ability to progress. When you think about your experiences, your environment, and your exposure, the things that have happened to you, the things that you've been through, have those things impacted negatively or have created an inaccurate belief system that's affecting your ability to believe on the level that you want to achieve? Come on, y'all. And so I want to break this down for you because I want to help us to understand where our belief stem from, or the 3 E's that we talk about that impact our beliefs. And I want to go a little bit deeper because I think there's another component that impacts our beliefs, and it's our genetic makeup. So I think it's your experiences, your environment, and your exposure, and your genetic makeup, your essence. Ooh, that's a good one for the last E. Those 4 E's affect the way that we perceive things. And if that perception is not a healthy perception, it could really affect our ability to move forward. I want you to think about the experiences that you've had in your life. I don't want you to live there, but I want you to reflect. I want you to reflect as a way to gain awareness. I truly believe that awareness is the epitome of transformation. That when we become more self-aware, it's from that point that we can actually achieve the goals, the desires, the things that we're trying to achieve. Is at that point we know how we need to be developed. It's at that point, come on somebody, that we know how we need to be loved. And so self-awareness is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. So in being aware, practicing the power of introspection, reflecting, really looking at the experiences that you've had in your life, how have those experiences affected the way you think about yourself, the way you think about others, the way you think about this world? How have your environments affected your belief system? How have the things you've been exposed to affected your belief system? How is the lack of understanding of your genetic makeup affecting your belief system? Because oftentimes, most people can believe that something is wrong with them simply because they don't have insight about how they're actually designed, about their essence. And so it's a journey of discovery. And I think so many of us spend a lot of times in our life trying to judge others. And we spend very little time trying to understand ourselves. Come on, somebody. And if you continually go through this process of understanding what's around you without spending the time understanding what's within you, at some point, your lack of awareness, development, and ownership will expose you. So I want to challenge us today that if you're going to move forward, we must address our belief system. And the way that we address our belief system is that, first of all, we got to be aware of the experiences we've had, the environments we've been in, the things we've been exposed to, our genetic makeup, our essence, and how those things have affected our perception. And yes, we can't start by just changing our perception if, watch this, we don't begin by truly taking ownership of reframing our ease. So my question for you, when you think about who you want to become, when you think about what you want to achieve, I want to be a better man, I want to be a better woman, I want to be a better husband, better wife, better girlfriend, better boyfriend, I want to be a better employee, I want to be a better entrepreneur. What does that look like in terms of behaviors? What type of belief system do you actually need to have that will align with the behaviors that you're trying to achieve so that ultimately you can gain the end result of what you're attempting to do? Because your beliefs, my friend, drive your behaviors. And I want us to be aware of that. I want us to reframe those ease in our life. I want us to reframe those situations and circumstances. I want you to put yourself in new environments. I want you to expose yourself to things that are conducive to what you want to become. Trust me on this. Be very cognizant about what you study, what you watch, what you spend your time allowing to seep into your thought life. Because ultimately, you will become whatever you put yourself in proximity to. And the issue that most of us have is that we're struggling with really operating and executing on the level where we can move forward simply because of what we're eating. You will always become what you digest. My question for you, what are you digesting? And is it conducive to who you are desiring to become and what you're desiring to achieve? I want us to think about this really quick, and it's a moment of introspection. Are you stuck in a state? Are you stuck in a state? Are you stuck in a circumstance or in a situation that has happened? It's a very simple but significant question. And even though it's a simple question, it's not necessarily one that has a simple answer. Because for most of us, we may not even realize that, wow, I have been impacted by an adverse situation, by some level of adversity. I have been impacted by a series of adverse situations. And the impact of these situations have affected my ability to think accurately, to believe, to execute on a certain level. Are you stuck at a place where something has happened to you? And even though you're living in this present moment, you're truly stuck in your past. I think one of the most dangerous things that can happen to us as humans is that we can be driving forward, but looking backward. And I think looking backward as it relates to reflecting is essential. But living behind will never allow you to move forward. Are you stuck at a place where things have happened and you continue to be stuck simply because you're regurgitating a story to yourself. You're repeating over and over a story. I didn't have this and I lacked that and this happened to me. And yes, I'm not diminishing the situation or circumstance, the thing that you had to go through. But are you keeping something alive that needs to die simply because you keep reviving it? I want us to think about these things, and it's not an easy thing to talk about. It's not an easy thing to confront. It's not an easy thing to introspect on. But here's the reason I want you to do the hard work. It's because if you don't do the hard work, you won't experience the real change. I said it this way in a masterclass that we just did, is that real results require radical shifts. Real results require radical shifts. And oftentimes radical shifts begin with real conversations. Do you know you can have a conversation with yourself, a real conversation with yourself about where you are and who you are and what got you there and the stories you keep repeating to yourself and the things that you really struggle with on a day-to-day basis. You can really continue to repeat these things to yourself and they can affect your ability to move forward simply because you keep bringing life or putting life into something that needs to die. I'm not saying it's easy. What I'm saying is you're worth it. And so I want you to do the work that's necessary. I want to touch on something really quick because I think it's important that I believe with every essence of my being that to some degree, most of us are stuck because of the misinterpretation of adversity in our lives. There is not a person on this globe, and if there are people outside of this planet, them too, that have not or will not experience some level of adversity at some point in their lives. Most of us, if not all of us, I believe all of us, will go through things in our life that will shake our expectations. And oftentimes, I think we go through these situations and we diminish the impact that they've had on us. And we respond differently. Some people end up in depression. Some people end up developing drive. But what's interesting is that maybe different people respond to it differently, but until it's addressed, we won't actually have peace. Do you know you can have drive, but not have peace? Do you know you can be depressed because you don't have peace? So regardless of the reason, we must be able to embrace and understand the impact of the adversity in our lives, but not allow the adversity to manage you. I say it this way, and I want you to grasp this nugget, that adversity will shake you, but the decision you make in that moment determines whether it breaks you or builds you. Let me say it again. Adversity will shake you, and to believe that adversity does not shake you is to dehumanize yourself. But the decision you make in that moment determines whether it breaks you or builds you. Oh, let's break this down for a minute, because I don't want to focus so much on the adversity aspect of that quote. What I want to focus on is the decision. I truly believe this. The most powerful aspect of our humanity lies in our autonomy. That's what makes us powerful as humans, is that at any moment, we can make a decision to change. Come on. At any moment, we can take ownership. At any moment, we can take the pieces to make a masterpiece. At any moment, we can allow the mess to become a message. At any moment, we can take the nuances of no and allow that no not to be a rejection of our capabilities, but an acronym that stands for new opportunities. I hope you're feeling me right now. At any moment, we can decide to change. So the most powerful aspect of our humanity lies in our autonomy. Can I tell you something? You have autonomy. Regardless of what you're going through, you have autonomy. Regardless of what you've been through, you have autonomy. Autonomy cannot be taken. It can only be given. Woo! Somebody needed that. Autonomy cannot be taken. It can only be given. Nobody can take your autonomy. You choose to give your autonomy. Yes, I understand. Jovan, what if I'm in a situation where physically I'm held captive. Can I tell you something that you can be physically bound but mentally free? I'm about to run in here, somebody. I want you to understand that your autonomy cannot be taken. It can only be given. Autonomy is so deep. Regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what you will go through, you still have autonomy. You still have the ability to decide. Autonomy is so much more than a decision. Autonomy is the ability to create. Come on, somebody. That we can create things out of something. And I oftentimes argue that I believe the biggest issue that we have is not our problems. The biggest issue that we have is our ability to see the purpose in the problems that we have. I'm about to run. When I tell you your ability to identify the purpose in the problem is the secret and the essence of being able to move forward on the cusp of or on dealing with level of adversity or some form of adversity, your ability to see the good and the not so good, your ability to take something that may have attempted to break you and allow that thing to build you is the secret to this deal. And I promise you, I only know that because it's my life story. That when you look at the facts of my life, when you look at the history of my life, it does not add up to the story of my life. But you know the difference between his story and story, or her story and story, is the her or the his that goes in front of it. That taking ownership of your story is what allows a story to impact his story. Adversity will shake you. But the decision you make, come on somebody, determines whether it builds you or breaks you. The most powerful aspect of our humanity lies in our autonomy. At any moment, you can make a decision. And can I tell you something today that maybe you need to hear? Is that you are a limited edition with unlimited potential. I know a lot of times we focus on the mess. A lot of times we repeat these insecurities, and insecurities are just repetitions of somebody's broken perspective that you've allowed to become your reality. And insecurities diminish where worth is established. And today I choose to help you establish your worth through these positive words that you are a limited edition with unlimited potential. There's so much in you. And in order for you to move forward and be able to fully see what's in you, it's so essential that you make the decision. You can change the entire trajectory of your life with a decision. That's how powerful decisions are. One decision can change the entire trajectory of your life. The difference between a prisoner and a pastor is a decision. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. I ain't judging nobody. The difference between a multi-millionaire and somebody who may be sleeping on a bridge is a decision. Now, watch me closely. I'm not saying that there's circumstances that didn't affect that person's life or the trajectory of their life. But even in the realm and in the face of circumstances, you still have a choice to make. There are some things that affect our ability to make the right decisions. Come on, y'all. But if we address those things, if we have the support, if we understand that our beliefs drive our behaviors, if we do the work, then the mess in your life can actually become a message. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me in here. And so I want you to understand this, that your decisions matter. And maybe you need to grasp that your decisions matter. Your decisions matter. There's an African proverb that says it this way: you may have been born looking like your daddy, but you'll die looking like your decisions. And this is not just a negative thing. Maybe being born like your daddy means that you're born in lack. But the decisions that you make is the way that you take that lack and you turn it into leverage. Yeah. Your decisions matter. I want to give you 5 quick pillars to progress. If we're going to move forward, if we're going to really make the decision to say, no more will I allow what has happened to me to limit what I can become. No more will I allow the circumstances in my life to affect my stance. Because listen to me, when you're bold in your stance, you cannot be controlled by your circumstance. No more will I allow myself to give myself excuses of who I can become because of what I'm going through. And yes, it may have happened to me, but it will not happen through me. So today, if we're going to make progress, we need some pillars. Can I give you the pillars? And if you ain't writing, you might need to write this down. Pillar number 1, you must be fearless to move forward. If we're going to move forward, the pillar number 1, the first thing I want you to understand is that you must be fearless to move forward. I want you to understand something. To move forward is going to require courage. And oftentimes the courage that it requires, if we're going to move forward, is letting go of the things that have been comfortable to step into the things that are truly a catalyst to our breakthrough. Being fearless, being courageous means that sometimes I have to separate to elevate. I'm about to run. Sometimes I must let go of situations and circumstances and people and opinions and the need to be validated and the need to feel safe. I might need to let go of the comfort zone in order to step into unlimited potential. Sorry, not sometimes, every single time. There is no way to achieve any level of greatness by sitting in some level of comfort. That every single opportunity to glory requires grit. I'm about to run in here. So the first thing that I need you to grasp, that if you're really going to move forward, it requires that you be fearless. And fearless does not mean that you don't feel the physiological symptoms, or you don't have the physiological symptoms of fear. You don't feel the anxiety and the, oh my gosh, what if it happens and your heart don't race? It means, come on somebody, that the feelings will not determine my focus, that the feelings will not eliminate or will not limit my decision to move forward, that despite of how I feel, I will go. I'm about to take my glasses off. That I'm telling you today that if you're really going to move forward, you must truly grasp the true essence of moving while feeling uncomfortable. Come on, somebody. Most of us want to feel good before we make progress. But can I tell you something today? That until you truly grasp what it means to move while doubting, to be able to go while dealing with these feelings of lacking clarity or whatever the case may be, until you understand that being fearless does not mean that you don't have the feelings. It means that your feelings will not determine your focus. Let me put back on my glasses so I can remain calm. Can we keep going? We got 4 more pillars and then we're done. Pillar number 2, if we're going to move forward, is that you must be focused to move forward. Moving forward requires focus. I can't argue this as much as I really want to, because it's so essential that we remain focused. And here's why. Here's why it's so important to remain focused. Because moving forward is not just about the first decision, but it's in the other decisions that you must make after the first decision to continue to say yes to the first decision in the face of the distractions that will occur in the pursuit of your destiny. If you're going to really achieve and move forward, you're going to have to deal with some distractions. And these distractions serve one purpose. The purpose of your distraction is to push you back into your comfort zone so that you can continue to exist and not truly live and thrive. So you must truly have the focus that's necessary if you're going to move forward. And the way that we truly remain focused is that we must first be aware of our distractions. And we must radically remove the distractions in our lives. There are things that you're going to have to remove. And you're going to have to become aggressive about them if you're going to move forward. Here's the third pillar. To move forward, you must be free. You must be free to move forward. This is something that I believe most of us diminish or we don't fully understand. That holding on to what has happened to you. And I feel this level of empathy because I know I'm talking to people who have been through real things and who have had real things happen to them. And I'm not diminishing it. I'm not even asking you to diminish it. I'm asking you to not allow it to destroy you. Those situations only win when you make the decision to lose. So to be free, we must understand this principle that you must release the disappointments. There is no way to move forward while holding on to what has happened, simply because holding on to what has happened to you will change your shape. It will change your authenticity. And oftentimes when we move forward, the reason we miss what's really for us is because when we run into it, we're not our most authentic self. Do you know what's for you is for you, the real you, not the you that has changed your authenticity because of what has happened to you. How many of us are missing our moments, missing our blessing, missing the love that we desire, missing the impact we want to make, missing the opportunity that is really for you, simply because when you show up and you run into that opportunity doesn't even recognize you, because who you are is really just the tarnished and hurt and version of you that's holding on to this thing so tight. And when you hold on to things like this, it begins to hurt simply because the blood has stopped flowing. Don't you allow what has happened to you to cause you to hold on to it so much that you don't have the capacity to receive the things that is actually for you. I got two more and then we about to run. Here's the fourth thing. You must finish to move forward. Starting is great. And we got to do a whole other episode for what it really takes to start. But if we're really going to move forward, we must finish the things that we're starting. And I know I'm speaking to somebody specifically who said, Jovan, I do a really good job at starting, but not a real good job at finishing. Can I have a transparent moment? That's one of the areas in my life that I am attacking aggressively, is finishing something that I have started. And I realized that my lack of finishing, and this is not an excuse, come on somebody, this is me being aware. My lack of finishing is not connected to my character, it's connected to my capacity. Can I break this down? That most of us don't lack the ability to finish because we don't have the character to do what we say we're going to do. Most of us lack the ability to finish because we don't have the capacity to finish. Simply because we have overcommitted ourselves to things that don't matter, so we don't have the capacity to do the things that do. If you struggle with the ability to say no, you will always stay stuck and struggle with the ability to move forward. So it's essential that if we're going to finish, we must truly assess where we're placing our energy and our time. Here's the last one. You can't move forward by yourself. If you're going to move forward, you're going to need some help. And we can't have this level of pride and arrogance in believing that you don't need help, that you got it all figured out. Because you have blind spots, you have limitations. The reason you can't see what's on your face without a mirror is because you can't see yourself, not accurately. And I think narcissism is a person who have fooled themselves into believing that they can see themselves accurately. You can't see yourself accurately. And so it's essential that you have trusted people in your life that can help you, truly help you to point out the blind spots in your life. And they're not pointing it out as a way to diminish or discredit you. They're pointing it out because they want the absolute best for you. I want you to move forward so that you can achieve what you desire to achieve in your life. I want you to move forward because there's something tied to you. There's some level of impact tied to you showing up and being who you need to be authentically. I want you to move forward so that you can go from existing to living. Because listen to me, everything that is alive may have life, but not everything that has life is actually living. So I want to hear from you. I want to help you on this journey moving forward. I want to make sure that I'm making more content that really focuses on being, I want to focus on being effective, not impressive. I'm not here to sound good or to just build my brand. Goodbye. I'm here to really help you. And in order for me to help you, I want to hear from you. So you're watching this on YouTube, drop some comments. I want to hear from you. Which one of those pillars do you find yourself struggling with at times? Is it that you want to be fearless? You struggle with some fear, and that fear paralyzes you instead of pushing you into your destiny. Maybe for you, man, I'm not as focused as I need to be. Maybe number 3, man, I really have to release some things because no matter how much I try to move forward, I find myself coming back to what has happened to me. Or for you, is it that I really need to finish what I set out to do? Or maybe I find myself operating a lot in isolation. I don't have a community. I don't have mentorship. I don't have coaches. I'm not in a position where I really have help. I want to hear from you. So if you're watching this, drop it in the comments. If this is something you're listening to in a podcast, do the same. But I want to hear from you. I want to understand how to serve you. I want to understand where you're struggling with so that I can create more messages just to really help you to gain the clarity, confidence, and influence you need to level up in your impact. Listen, I'm Jovan Glasgow. I am so grateful that you spent some time with me today. If you got to the end of this message, I hope you took something away from this. Don't forget, if you're watching this and you got all the way here, make sure you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so that you stay up to date with when we drop content. And more importantly, take care of yourself, take care of your family, level up, do something great with your life. You only got one life. You only have one life. And so whatever you do with this life, do something that is authentic to you and do it as your most authentic self. I love you. Can't wait to see you again soon. Until then, I'm out.